We in the building. We in the building, my peopleizations.
Wake
We
up,
are
wake
in
up, wake
the
up. Y'all
building.
fell asleep. Y'all fell asleep, man.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, pardon us, man. Me and Clay was talking off the air, just sitting here.
Yeah.
And y'all are sitting in the chat.
Yeah,
Pardon
we were building on something, man. Salute to
Shakia
y'all, man.
Fields, peace and blessings, Queen. How you feeling? What's good, my brother Claymore Rain is in the building.
Yeah, man. Salute.
Yes, sir.
We're going to build on it today.
Yeah, we're going to cook today, people. We're going to cook on this boxing. As y'all already know what y'all here for, some boxing talk. So we're going to cook on some boxing talk.
For sure.
A few topics, and then obviously we always freelance and go into other topics, as it presents itself, as it may. But this is we want to talk about Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, and Geron Boots Inis, right? Clay, did you see the interview Brian Norman Sr. Did? And he believes that, Geron Ennis is going to abduct him and going to fight Teofimo Lopez. And this is what I want to have this conversation with you, because my thing is, I don't believe it's Geron Ennis. I think that it's more so Turkey Al-Sheikh, right? And what he wants, right? Turkey wants Geron Ennis to be in the marquee fight, right? He's tired of seeing Geron Ennis in what he deems to be lower level types of fights. Right. And I don't think that Turkey Al-Sheikh is too familiar with Brian Norman Jr. Right. And I don't think he has much stock and thoughts of Mario Barrios. You know what I'm saying? But he's very high on Geron Boots Inis, right? And he wants to see Geron Ennis in marquee fights. And I think that for so long, Turkey Al-Sheikh is very aware of Geron Ennis, like myself and yourself. You know what I mean? And for a long time, I know for myself, speaking for myself, I wanted to see Geron Ennis with marquee fights, right? You get tired of just seeing him in the ring with, and no disrespect, but the David Avanesians and these level of fighters, it's like it's the same fighter on repeat, right? Just a different name, but similar fighter, right? And so it's like it's time that we start to see Geron Ennis and that talent put to the test. I mean, he's gonna be 28 years old, right? And he don't have a marquee name on his resume, right? I thought Castillo Clayton was going to present that, and he didn't. He didn't present any type of resistance, any type of challenge. And so it's like I call him the phenom. But again, we got to see him actually compete and put those skill set to the test. Or I can't claim that he's the phenom. You know what I mean? And then he's fighting. It's almost like he's like Teofimo Lopez. He's fighting to the level of his competition, right?
It's turning into that for sure.
Yeah, it's turning into that, right? So I think that because His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh is so familiar with Geron Ennis, but not the other guys, he's burnt out of the whole Geron Ennis 147 campaign. It's like, let's go to 154. Let's fight. Remember Eddie Hearn told us like, as soon as Terrence Crawford fought, and as soon as Ennis fought, Turkey immediately called to the locker room like, hey, can we make this fight happen? You know what I'm saying? It's like he's tired of seeing Geron Ennis in with the David Avanesians, the Karen Chugajins, and these level of opposition that his style is just way too much for them. You want to see him put to the test, right? And I think that Turkey looks at the names and the fact that Teo has a big name and Teo is calling out Geron Ennis, right? And Turkey's like, oh, you need a big name. Teo is that guy. You know what I mean? Let's match him up. Where Geron Ennis is like, yeah, no, I want to collect these belts. Right. You know what I mean? But I think that the wave is bigger than the pool that Geron Ennis in. And what I mean by that, Clay, is that Teo is saying it. You know what I'm saying? Then you have all these other guys, Devin, Ryan, they're all moving to 147. They all got essentially bigger names than Boots Ennis, right? And it's like he's gonna. I think Turkey is to the point where Jalen, peace, bless, Queen.
Peace, Jalen.
I think Turkey is to the point where he's like, I want to see your name versus this name.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's reported this is his last fight with Matchroom, with Stanionis.
Right.
It's a unification bout. But I just feel like Turkey's pushing him into the direction of Teo, and Teo does nothing for him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so Brian Norman Sr. was like, hey, Boots is going to duck us, you know what I'm saying, to fight Teo. And I don't believe he's ducking Brian Norman per se. I think that he is being pushed in a specific direction, and with the money and Turkey, and he's getting what he want right now with Stanionis, right?
Right.
He pushed back on the Virgil Ortiz fight. How many opportunities, how many chances, how many times you gonna push back on Turkey?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And be like, hey, no, I ain't taking that fight. I'm doing this fight.
Eventually, he already did that with Virgil.
Yeah, eventually Turkey gonna be like, okay, well, you on your own. You know what I'm saying? But what's your thoughts though on that?
I think first of all, there's no secret that Turkey's trying to introduce like this new. He's trying to reinvigorate and revitalize the 147-pound division, right? He's got Devin, he's got Ryan, who's going to compete there, and he's got Teofimo, who's also talked about fighting Geron Boots Inis. And, Geron Boots Inis ultimately is going to be like a vehicle to kind of like bring this new era, new generation into 147 pounds, and, giving Geron Boots Inis an opportunity to kind of lead that pack a little bit, right? Like, all right, well, you're the guy. You're going to be unified champion. We're assuming that you're going to beat Stanionis. You'll be the unified champion in the division. I think it'll be a great fight to have Teofimo fight, being that he's so motivated to fight him. He's probably not aware about how messy that negotiation was happening between Brian Norman's team and Boots' team and Eddie Hearn, and that whole entire confusion and messy situation that it turned out to be. So he's looking to put together the fights at this point with people who he signed, right? He's giving these guys 3-fight deals, so obviously that's going to be his priority, to put these guys into position. That's what he's going to do. Is he unaware of Brian Norman? I don't know. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say Turkey's unaware, but is Brian Norman a fight that means nothing to him, as far as I have no vested interest in that fight? Like, I actually have fighters like Boots works with Eddie Hearn, which basically means he works with me, in his own way. I'm willing to finance and invest in Boots's brand growing. And of course, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, and Teofimo Lopez are fighters who I have contracts with. So I think naturally he's going to try to bring those fighters in-house, you might want to say, right, on his side of the street. He's actually has a side of the street now, right? Like, throughout this past 18 months or 2 years, he's been putting together fights. He's gotten relationships, and he has deals right now. He calls them ambassadors, but to me, you're signed to Turkey, right? In your own way. You got this outside deal with Turkey. All of them got these 3-fight deals, including Canelo Alvarez now, Terrence Crawford. All these guys are working with Turkey. He officially is open to work with other fighters, but he officially has his own fighters now that he's got legitimate vested interest in keeping them active. He's doing that, right? Brian Norman doesn't bring that to the table. You're with Bob Arum. You're with Top Rank. That's what you guys are doing over there. And we work from time to time with Bob Arum and Top Rank, but Top Rank's not part of this situation. So I'm not going to push to put nothing in Brian Norman's, corner. Brian Norman is doing what Brian Norman is doing with Top Rank. And I think that's all it comes down to at this point. He's finally got enough vested interest in this space with the fighters that he's working with, to where that there's priorities for Turkey right now, right? He has priorities. He has things that are more important to him over other things. Making great fights is very important, but now he has fighters that he can make great fights with in-house. Right, he's done this whole tournament with Ryan and Devin and Teofimo. Like, boom, this is how it's going to happen. You're going to go fight Boots. Boots is part of me. You're going to fight the winner of Devin and Ryan. Is going to fight the winner of this fight. Pop, 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 pop. He already has like 2-3 fights already lined up for these dudes. And like he said, he's busy with boxing at least until next year, right? Like, he's like, at least for the next year and a half, I'm going to be busy. And that's what his priority right now is, to fulfill the contracts and the commitments that he's agreed to stand behind. I think that's all that comes down to. Now, as far as Senior's point of view, he could look at it like ducking, or he could look at it for what it really is. And what it really is the money is in Turkey. Whatever Turkey wants is a legitimate option for Boots, right? Fighting you right now is all about unifying and doing all those things. But where's the money actually at fighting you? If I do get you the money, it's going to have to be convincing Turkey to do it. So now you're in a position right now to where you haven't taken this fight when it was offered before because you said it wasn't enough money. Well, Boots can unify, fight Teofimo, beat Teofimo, and then come back and fight you later. You're always going to be there, right? You said it. You said your son has a big future, has all the time in the world. There's no rush. So there's no ducking. When I hear that kind of talk, you know what I hear? I really want the fight next. You really want to make this fight happen next for the opportunity that's there. Because what's your other options now, Brian Norman? You're kind of in a complicated situation now, right? Now you're going to have to try to unify with Mario Barrios. Boots, if he wins, will be a only unified champion in that division. And what opportunities do you have? You're about to fight on the undercard of Michaela Mayer and Sandy Ryan, right? You're fighting on an undercard and you're a champion, right? So what are you about to headline and fight? Who are you going to fight at 147 pounds right now and give them an opportunity? If it's not Boots, then you're going to have to probably do something like, I don't know, Jaleel Hackett. Or if you're trying to make the biggest fights, what fights are you going to make? You're going to make a bunch of pointless fights, not to mention that Top Rank right now is getting ready to end their deal with ESPN. So you're kind of up in the air, and Boots really has all the cards. It's really on his side of the table to play it the way he wants to play it. Does he want to unify? I'm sure he does, but is he not going to unify if he fights Teofimo first? I doubt that. I think that fight will still be there. Or if it's not there, he can move up to 154 and start that campaign and start making money with Turkey doing that. So I think there's no pressure on Boots at all for Boots to make it. And it's not about ducking at this point. It's definitely not about ducking. We don't want to hear that. And let's be real. Most of the boxing space isn't embracing that because I think most people in the boxing space fault the Normans for that fight not happening, right? They feel like they price themselves out. You've heard all the arguments in the world. Boots ain't got no pressure in the world, man. It's all on his side of the conversation. And yeah, shout out to Rohan Polanco. I know why. That's another option for the Normans to get involved in. But once again, a risky fight, another fight that's not going to necessarily go your way. Necessarily, you could win for sure, but Rohan Polanco doing his thing in a big way right now at 147 pounds. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Me and Clay gonna tap into that in 1 second. LT number one energy, brother in the super chat, dropping that half a dub on us in the super chat. He said, "What up, Blue and Claymore? We talked about this the other day, but I strongly believe Boots needs to get the heck out of 147. I feel the weight class is gonna catch up with him on one of these fights." Well, the thing is, right, number one, LT. The thing about it is this, right? Is the weight was tearing him up because he had to follow that IBF rules and that 10-pound rehydration clause because he entered the IBF stand-ins for so long chasing Errol Spence fight, right? But now he unifies the belts. Once he unifies the belts, he good. Because from there on out, he don't have to follow the IBF 10-pound rehydration clause.
Yep. That's what changed his mind. That's what made him hang back. That's why he took this fight with Stanionis and didn't go fight Virgil, because he's like, oh, if you're going to give me a unification fight, I'm going to take it, because once I become unified, this rehydration clause no longer exists for me. And now he can make the weight at 147. It's hanging on to stay inside that 10-pound rehydration.
Right, rehydrating. Yeah. But now he can rehydrate, you know what I'm saying, to whatever he want to. He said that. You saw in the interview he did?
Yeah, he said it.
He said it. Let's discuss. I don't know if you saw this, Clay, but I have so many people hit me up and they're like, see, people don't understand boxing. And not talking about you, no Waville. But did you see the pay scale that the TKO laid out?
No, I didn't see it. No.
Okay, I'm gonna send it to your phone right now.
All right. I'm about to say, was it on X or something?
I don't know where. Boxing Wars somewhere posted it. And people don't understand how this works. You know what I'm saying? so many people don't know what goes on behind the scenes, and it's sad. And so when they see this, they think they automatically think these millions upon millions of dollars, and that's not how this works at all. So let me send it to you, Clay.
I see Brunch Boxer had something up here about it. 20,000 for a 10 round.
There it goes. I just text it to you.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it right here. 50,000 when ranked by 50,000 when ranked by the company at number 5 to number 10. 125,000 when ranked by the company at number 3 to number 4. 375,000 when challenging for a company championship. 750,000 when defending a company championship. Okay.
Right.
So
okay.
So what's the issue right now? These guys, how much is Abdullah Mason making a fight right now? How much is Carmel Moulton making a fight right now? How much is, how much are these guys making per fight right now? And how active are they?
And so here's the thing, right? People don't know this, and people were sending me this talking about, you see, they don't want to pay the fighters. So I told them, I'm telling people, I got fatigued, so I just stopped saying it. That's why I didn't even bring it up right now. Like, it's so silly, and this is why I told people, educate yourself on what these purses are. For $20,000 as a startup fighter is great money.
Yeah.
And I tell them, I just got to the point where I copied and paste because they're like, oh, you keep defending Turkey and Dana White, you defend it. And I said, you people don't even know what you're talking about. Right? I know fighters, and I'm not going to name names, big name fighters that's getting $2,500, $5,000.
Right.
$7,000. And you know who these fighters' names are.
This is a fact.
And these are facts.
Bro, Blue, they don't even understand. First of all, there's thought and research put into the pay scale. You guys are just taking it on a surface level, and you're not understanding that they're being competitive, right? They're not going to overpay for something that, They're going to be competitive. They understand when they're offering these fights to these fighters, they understand, like, this is a competitive rate. This is competitive. This is probably more than you're getting. Now, we're talking at a 10-round fight. For a contender who's doing a 10-round fight, you don't know. They're not grabbing fighters who are, they're not grabbing Abdullah Mason and giving him that, right? They're giving fighters who are just starting. They're building their own database of fighters. Paying them $20,000 per 10-round fight. You know what I'm saying? For you see that said by an unranked fighter. That's a fighter who's not in the ranking structure, right? That's somebody who's looking for a chance.
Right. And
these fighters aren't making that kind of money.
The ranked fighter gets $50,000.
Exactly. Gervonta Tank Davis spoke about how much money he was just getting paid right before he fought Jose Pedraza, talking about Floyd screwed him over. If I'm correct, he said he was sitting in $10,000. $10,000 that he made. And he was, you know what I mean? I mean, he wasn't Gervonta Tank Davis that we know him to this day. But imagine, that man was on his last bit and got forced into the Jose Pedraza fight because he had no money. And he had to take the fight and felt like Floyd set him up.
Right. Not only that, Carmel Moulton, I know this for a fact. His biggest check was like $15,000.
Boom.
And he's with Mayweather Promotions.
I mean, you guys are but damn, bro. But damn, right? It is what it is, but damn, because it's sad. And I'm saying, but damn, because you guys are just, man, bro, the community, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you guys I want you guys to be so much smarter than this. I really want you to. I don't want to throw shots at you. I just want you to be smarter, right? Just stop being so triggered on being so hyper-focused on tearing down this whole entire movement right now. Like, it doesn't make any sense. These fighters are going to not only the money that they're getting, the access to the facilities that they're getting, the whole entire the marketing, the big platform that they're going to be on. These fighters are getting an opportunity. These B-side quote fighters or fighter, whatever you want to call it, unranked fighters are getting opportunities that will never be offered to them in the way boxing is structured today.
Listen to this, Clay.
Mm-hmm.
While people are laughing, and I keep telling people, do your homework. And I told everybody this before you message me these messages and think, oh, you did now make a video about this. I had 6 people, Clay. Now you need to make a video about this. And I told them, you people are ignorant and not educated. Educate yourself before you speak. Clay, the whole world is becoming very familiar with Abdullah Mason.
Mm-hmm.
His last fight, he got $50,000.
I know. That's why. Listen, did you see the video? Have you guys seen the all access to Abdullah Mason before he had his last fight? How his brothers and father were living?
But no Clay, offense, his opponent, Johan Vasquez, got $20,000.
Yeah, bro. Bro, did you see the all access?
Yeah.
Did you see the room that they're praying in? You know what I'm saying? That they're offering salat in. Do you see the hair where he's getting his hair cut in the basement? The way that's why he's being super active. They're trying to be active and build themselves up. Abdullah's trying to pull his family out of a struggle, right? Out of a struggle. And I'm not trying to speak on that man's business like that, but just to say that if you watch that all access, bro, this dude is knocking everybody out. He's hot. He's a hot commodity right now in boxing. Everybody wants to see Abdullah Mason fight. He is the #1 prospect in the whole entire planet right now. I mean, yeah, they gave it to Moses Atuma, you know what I'm saying, before they gave it to Moses Atuma at the Ring Magazine Awards, but I think everybody agreed nobody's been more active than this dude in delivering more knockouts than Abdullah Mason as a prospect right now. And he's not making this kind of money. Abdullah Mason could very well be in this league. If Top Rank doesn't offer him and put him in position very soon to make something powerful happen, first of all, I don't think he'd be in that pay scale structure. I think he'd get a whole different pay because of who he is, and I think people are aware who he is. But they can very well lose Abdullah Mason to this league.
Clay, against Victor Vasquez, Kamel Moan got $5,000.
Yeah, that's what the system is broken, bro. The system is broken, bro. This is why Turkey's here. This is why he can't even exist. This is why this is why the big money is being invested in this league, is to address a broken system. What are you guys talking about? What are you guys talking about that you guys would look at that pay structure and turn that into a C moment? I'd love to ask, what have you been under the assumption that these fighters have been getting paid? How about this? They haven't been getting paid well. They've been getting paid $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. That's what they've been getting paid. Do you look at Turkey differently now, knowing that he's bringing that different element to the game? Now, I'm going to assume that you just weren't aware of how these quote unquote B-sided fighters, how these fighters are actually being treated in the boxing space. Now that you see, now that you're getting some perspective as to what's actually happening in the boxing game to these fighters who are electricians like the Josh Padleys, the people you guys throw shots at, right? The people who aren't making the big paydays. Before Brian Norman Jr. got approached on making that fight happen, now shout out to Brian Norman Sr., who's making a good living, owns a business, and they're not asking for nothing. But you saw what they were saying about them. Them dudes, $100,000. That was his biggest payday. That was his biggest payday before that happened, right? So we know about how this game's been working for the longest period of time. Why would y'all look at that pay scale and be using that as see what? As soon as I looked at it, I was like, what's the big deal? I don't get it immediately.
Right.
Like, I didn't even think twice about it. I'm like, yep, 20,000, 10,000, unranked fight. Okay, 50,000, number 5 to number 10. Okay, 125,000, number 3 to number 4. That sound about right. What did Brian Norman Jr. get paid? He got paid $100 and something thousand, right? Like $100,000, what they said he got paid. Mm-hmm. So when we say that he ranked between number 3 and 4, like 2 and 1 or something like that, that sounds about right. It looks like the guy on this league, whoever fights on this league who's sitting at the number 3 to number 4 spot might, because I don't know what Brian Norman got paid, get paid more than Brian Norman did. He's a 6-figure fighter and not fighting for a title and not fighting for a title. Then if you're challenging for a championship, $375,000. Defending your title, $750K.
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't get what you guys are doing, but it's that's why I said you're not considered anymore. Blue, they're not taking into consideration no more. None of the big wigs that are controlling this boxing algorithm or trying to move the needle in this sport are giving you guys any attention, bro. The fighters you love don't even respond to you guys, or even because you guys are so disconnected from what's going on in the space. You're just a bunch of fanatics in chat rooms, running your mouth, talking on people's money, doing the stuff that y'all doing, and not moving the needle, not doing nothing for nobody in boxing, bro.
And that's why I try to tell people, right? Before you message me in my inbox and think that you're saying something, and it's what you call it, Clay? A C moment,
right?
See, right? Before you do that, go do your homework. You don't even know the numbers. You don't even know what these fighters are getting paid and not getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
But yet you looked at these numbers and thinking low because you silly people with a moronic mindset are basing it off of these Tank Davis pays, Shakur
the
pays,
millions of dollars.
Yeah, Devin Haney paid, Ryan Garcia. We talking about, it says, and this is what I'm saying, right, Clay? They not even reading. An unranked fighter is guaranteed $20K.
Right.
Unranked fighter is guaranteed $20K. L-Dub Boxing, the boxing plug. What's up, family?
Oh, look, they got it right here. They got it right here. Shout out to Beat the Press, who says, remember you were arguing with fools on Twitter. Richard Torres, Brian Norman Jr., top-ranked prospect, who combined made $150,000.
Muscle up, Cat. What's up, family? This is what I'm trying to tell people, but people, they be so eager, Clay, to have the what you call it, the see now moment. You know what I'm saying? See now look. So people talking about, yeah, Blue, you quick to defend Turkey. Make a video about this, moron.
Let me see if
LT number one energy, my brother, back in the super chat.
I'm gonna send this to you right now.
He said, what weight class is Kamel Moulton? 126, right?
126.
Yeah, 126.
Let me send this over to you right now so you can take a look at this.
Salute my brother Freedom March in the super chat, dropping that Cinco. Appreciate you, great brother. Much love, Freedom. Yeah, Clay, you know what I'm saying? But people they'll just be like,
I gotta figure out how to open this up and put this on here for you. Like this, because I'm doing it through my stickers, images I want to put on here. No, it's not images. Photos. Search your library. Location is included. Man, how do I do this? How do I send this? How do I send this? Do I save it in the photos? Yeah, that's what I do. Hold on. But they show the pay scale structure for Top Rank.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they show the pay scale structure for Top Rank on May 18th, 2024, when Brian Norman for his title, and Emmanuel Navarrete, they showed his pay structure, you know what I'm saying, what he got paid to defend his title. What Dennis Baranchek got paid, diabolical, bro.
What he got?
To fight Emmanuel Navarrete for that title,
yeah,
he got $80,000.
To fight Emmanuel Navarrete.
Right. When Brian Norman Jr. fought Giovanni Santillan got $150,000, and he was defending his title, right? He was defending his title, or they were fighting for they were fighting for an interim title. And Brian Norman Jr. got an even $100,000. got an even 100,000. So, like I said, under the TKO pay structure, he would have got that 125,000. Brian Norman would have gotten it. Richard Torres got 50K to fight against Brandon Moore. Emiliano Vargas got $15,000 to fight Angel Varero Urena. He got 15 grand. Let's see here. Yeah, bro. Art Barrera Jr. got $2,500 for his fight to fight against Levi Garcia Benavidez, who got $3,000. It is what it is, bro. I'm trying to send this over to you. Hold on, let me think how to do this because I have the picture saved already. But if I send it, okay, I know how I'm gonna do it. I already know how I'm gonna do it, bro. It's no big deal. I know how I'm gonna do it right now. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. Compose. I'm gonna send it. THE Claymore. Boom. Attach. I'm just gonna do it though. Attach file. Let's go to desktop. Attach screenshot. Open. Boom. It's open, and let's send it. Boom. And so let's do subject, pick, and then send. All right, that's been sent. Now it's in my phone, and I can send it to you very quickly. Oop. Storage. Location. No. All right, so let's do this.
Yeah, people don't understand, man. Bacoli got 500K to fight Parker. Right. People don't understand how this thing works, man. We're trying to explain, man. Stop trying to be people are too busy, right, Clay, trying to diminish Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh, particularly Turki Al-Sheikh, right, to try to water down and downplay what they can and cannot do and what they mean for the sport of boxing, instead of just enjoying what they're bringing to the sport of boxing. They can't do it. So they so hung up. Everybody's so hung up. Well, these people are so hung up on trying to diminish them and discredit them and water them down that they're not even I had a dude tell me, Clay, the most ridiculous thing in the world. He says, all Turki Al-Sheikh is doing is being in the way. I said, what? He made fights that you would have never seen.
Did you get the text?
Yep. Yep. Would you look at that?
I don't know what people are talking about, bro. I don't know what people are talking about, bro. You see it? So it's like you guys got to be you guys got to do your research and do your Googles, man. And this is regular, and some of these guys got paid better. Like Emiliano Vargas, could you imagine? He got $15,000, bro.
$15,000 for Emiliano Vargas,
and he's like Emiliano is a you know what I mean? Everybody knows him,
and he's the son of a legend.
Son of a legend, Angel Varela Urena, the guy who he fought against, made $3,000, bro. Under the TKO pay structure, he would have made 20. How do you think he feels about that pay structure? When you look at those guys on this list, who most of them made under 20,000, right? Like well over 70%, I would say, of the list made under 20,000. And when I say under 20,000, I'm talking about like 2,500, 3,000, 10,000, 10,000, 8,500, 15,000, 3,000, 4,000, 3,000, right? I'm saying nowhere near 20,000. I'm not just saying under 20,000 like there's an 18,000 and some change. Somebody got close to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Come on, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. That pay structure isn't bad. And then let's add activity. How many of these fighters, how many times has Annual Dudo fought this year? How many times has Emiliano fought this year? He's fought none. This will be his first fight coming up next week. It'll be his first fight all year long that he's fought. He ain't got no worries in the world because his father's a multimillionaire and a legend in the sport, so he's not worried about it. He's still driving around in the foreign, I'm sure, living his best life. But at the end of the day, come on, man. You guys got to stop.
Exactly, bro. They again, but this goes back to what I was saying, right, Clay? If you don't understand the sport of boxing, right, and you're not familiar with the pay scale for these fighters, then you would look at those numbers because you're comparing those numbers, Clay, to the Tank Davises of the world, right? You're comparing those numbers to the Shakurs of the world. And no, when we mention those fighters, they are advanced. This is for guys that are just starting and building a name for themselves.
Facts.
And again, right, like you said, Clay, they're going to stay active. So let's say you are unranked opponent. You're an unranked fighter, right? You fight you fight 4 times a year at $20,000. That's $80,000 for a year.
Yeah, you can box for a living.
You can box for a living.
Not to mention the perks that come with the game, the facilities, the nutritionist, all the different things that they're going to have access to because of being signed with TKO. It's deeper than just the money. It's offering a whole bunch of stuff that the regular promoters aren't offering their fighters. Right. The highest level of support on the outside of the ring to prepare you to be the fighter you need to be. Come on, man. Come on, bro.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, man. People got to do their homework.
What does Top Breed said? So if a guy sells out an entire arena in a 10-fight fight, so what guy are you talking about? What fantasy nonsense did you just say right there, bro? Bro, what guy is selling out an arena for a 10-round fight? Who is it that you're talking about? What scenario are you comparing to when you said that? What young unranked fighter fighting 10 rounds is selling out an entire arena, bro? What are you talking about, bro? How old are you, man?
Yo,
I'm serious. Like, seriously, bro. What are you talking about right now, man?
An unranked fighter selling out an arena?
For 10 rounds? A 10-round fight, an unranked fighter selling out an arena? Who you think you talking to right now, bro? Do you realize who you talking to?
Yo, Clay,
that is nonsense, bro. That's total nonsense. What credibility do you want me to give to you, and how serious do you want me to take to you as a boxing fan? Why am I not supposed to just completely ignore you for the rest of the time that I do content every time I see your name? What world are you talking about?
Yo,
what are you talking about?
They are absolute, bro. You can't make this stuff up, Clay.
This man said, so a contender sells out a whole arena but does 10 rounds, it gets $20,000.
You unranked. You unranked. You in the 10-round fight. If you unranked, nobody knows you. You going to sell out an arena? Come on, man.
He said, wait a minute, what about their teams and managers? The fighter will walk away with $12,000 for a 10-round fight. I don't know what he's going to walk away with, right? Maybe it is $12,000. But right here, Art Barrera Jr. got $2,500 for his last fight. Did he have to pay his managers out of that? Did he have to pay his managers out of that? Did he have to pay his team out of that?
Wait a
Levi
minute.
Garcia Benitez, $3,000 in his last fight.
Wait,
You know what
wait.
I'm
I
saying?
want to ask him this, right? Peace, blessing, and Queen, Cali world. Blessings, Queen. Top breed. Carmel Moten got $5,000 for his last fight in August. How much did he walk away with?
Let's be honest, right? Emiliano Vargas walked away with $15K in his last fight. What did he walk away with? I'm sure his dad don't come.
Answer the question. Carmel Moten is extremely popular. He got $5,000. How much did he walk away with? And he's on Mayweather Promotions, the richest promoter in all of boxing outside of Turkey.
I mean, guys, come on, man. Come on, bro. Carmel Moten's paycheck couldn't even get him, like, he's not going to the Gucci store. You heard? He's not. He's not going to the Gucci store, bro. You know what I mean? He gonna buy himself a new game for his PS5, buy himself some new shoes, and probably gonna put
even doing that. Not for $5K. If you got, like Top Breed said, you got to pay your team. You ain't buying nothing. You ain't buying 2K. You ain't buying nothing.
Carmel's still getting a dinner's ready. Come downstairs call.
Right.
You heard? Dinner's ready, Carmel. Dinner's ready. He's still getting that. Oh no. You know what I'm saying? He's still getting that. Thank God his father's a hardworking man, bro, who's helping to finance and keep him focused on boxing so he doesn't have to get a job, because there's other people out there who are working straight full-time jobs to continue to stay and be boxers. Boxing damn near on a part-time level, eating ramen noodles for dinner. You know what I'm saying? Eating hot dogs and French fries for eating bad food that's not helping them out in their body and helping them develop. They're going to be with the UFC, getting that $20,000, getting the nutritionist, getting the facility to work out in. They're going to be able to box for a career. They're going to be able to commit to the sport.
Bro.
You're going to see better fighters coming out of this program. You're going to see more. You're going to see an evolution in physical conditioning of fighters. You know what I mean? Who are going to be getting the best help in the best gyms and the best facilities. You know what I mean? Access to all these things. They're just going to become. You're going to get a better breed of fighter. You know what I mean? Now listen, I'm not going to hold you, man. There's going to be certain things that might get hurt as well, without a doubt. There'll be actual cons about this. There'll be actual cons. This ain't one of them. This face struck ain't one of them. There'll be cons. Trust me. There will be ones. There will be cons like, oh man, this right here, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? But keep in mind, the option is always there for these fighters to go and sign with Top Rank and go and sign with Matchroom and go sign with these other companies and go fight and go do the good fight. They're not eliminating, they're adding to. So how does this hurt the sport?
Top Breed said, brother, what are you talking about? So now people who have been training at their gyms for decades have to move it for 20,000. What? Top Breed, Top Breed, take the day off, brother.
You doing a lot, bro. Like,
bro,
you're doing a lot.
Take the day off, bro.
Like shout out to the people who have what they need, bro, right? They have what they need. Shout out to those. They don't have to go to those facilities, but this is an option. This is an opportunity for a lot more fighters who don't have that shit you're talking about. They don't have that. For the fighters who do have that, okay. But how many more, in comparison ratio, how many more fighters are struggling and looking for a home gym? Don't have it. Can't, don't have the top trainers, are working out in Crunch Fitness gyms, punching the bags up in there and looking for other gyms so they can go get sparring with other fighters so that they can get inside of a gym. Right. How many fighters are actually struggling to maintain their boxing careers?
If you're not signing Top Rank, you can't go to Top Rank gym.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about? You have to have some sort of relationship or some sort of connection to go to Top Rank gym to do anything if you're not a Top Rank fighter. And there's security at the door. Y'all don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly, but there's a lot of fighters. There's a lot more fighters who are struggling to maintain and stay in this sport.
Right.
Look at Abdullah Mason fighting 6 times last year. Listen, that's a motivated kid right there, who's fast tracking himself in his career. But don't get it twisted for one moment that he didn't need that activity. that he didn't need
Right.
those paychecks that came for him. And he wasn't doing that with a reason, bro. It's not easy. It's not easy out here for these fighters, man. Look at this. Look at that all access of Abdullah Mason's family, the sacrifices the father had to make. You know what I mean? In order to get those boys together and give them a chance at following their dreams, bro. Big time sacrifices, bro. Big time. Y'all gotta stop, man. Big time sacrifices, man.
Yeah, people got to understand. You got to understand what the sport is about, man. Understand what the. That's why I said, man. Top breed, take the day off, bro. Go sit at the kiddie table for the rest of the day.
The Cardenas, without a doubt, Abdullah Mason's taking the necessary steps to becoming a champion, 100%. But he's chasing the legacy and becoming a champion. But he's also just watch the all access, bro.
Another thing, right, Clay? Don't forget, right? Abdullah Mason got 50,000, and that was considered a big step up. Remember?
Huge.
Right. So people. Will Smith, what's up, family? People got to understand, man. Just understand what's going on. Salute to my brother Kendall Stowers in the super chat, dropping that dub on us in the super chat. He said, when I fought in a tournament, I believe in 2013, in Fort Pierce, Thurman was there, and he drove a Prius. He told us about Ben Getty and how little top fighters get paid, and how AB moving up to welterweight ruined his career. Yeah. Oh, I know for a fact. Like, there's so much I can say right now. you man, listen. If the people only knew. That's why I said it just sounds silly. You an unranked fighter getting a guaranteed purse of 20K is huge.
Huge.
That's huge. Again, Abdullah Mason, Carmel Moulton. If this was considered a step up for Abdullah Mason, he only got 50K. Then what was he getting before that? Carmel Moulton is with the second richest promoter now in all of boxing, and Floyd Mayweather. He got $5,000. Make this make sense.
More than likely, Floyd is probably taking care of him on the back end on some pay me back later type nonsense, or you know what I mean, on some hold. He's probably floating him. You know what I'm saying? Putting him in his father in the crib. You know what I'm saying? Getting him away.
Like he
getting them together. Exactly. He's getting them together because the pay ain't coming through on no boxing for them.
Right. He put Tank in an apartment, furnished the apartment, and bought him a car. He bought him like a Jeep or something. He ain't buy him no luxury foreign.
Right.
Kendall Styles' brother in the super chat, dropping that half a dub on us in the super chat. He said, check my jacket, Blue. I was trained by Gary Russell's cousin for 7 years, Everett Weaver, and Yassine Mahi. I have a crazy story about Antoine from a tournament in ATL back in 2012. Oh, word? Yeah, I know Everett Weaver and Yassine. Salute. That's a blessing, bro. Salute to you, Kendall. That's a blessing, bro. Man, knowledge is key. Knowledge is wealth.
Yeah, you guys got to know what's going on. And I seen like Top Breed said, "Oh, it's not his fault. We don't know what's going on, bro." What do you?
Yeah, that's why I say he just take the day.
Yeah, off. Just ridiculous, bro. We don't like. What? How do y'all do this, man? How do y'all sit here and do this? Crazy, man.
Just take the day off, bro.
Crazy.
Take the day off, bro, because you're not even making sense. You're just trying to make an argument against Turkey and Dana White for the sake of making an argument against them because you don't like them.
With no options. All these arguments, no options for these fighters. No, you know what they should do? Pop, 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 nothing. Just sit there and be broke, man. Let me chop down and burn down and cut down your opportunity, even though I have nothing to replace it with and don't know what I'm talking about. Why don't you just be a boxing fan, bro, and be happy that there's going to be more boxing going on that you can watch, bro? Why are you sitting here trying? Because if these guys will listen to you, their careers would be in the gutter, bro. Bring nothing to the table knowledge-wise. Just a whole bunch of nonsense that you got just yapping at the side of your mouth, bro. Don't know what y'all talking about.
It just sounds ridiculous, man. But I heard you chopping it up about this. I wanted to touch on this real quick before we move on. What you think about the whole Eddie Reynoso firing Teofimo Lopez, man? Rich Porter, what's up, family?
I think the panel was talking about it and hitting on a lot of different points, right? There's the speculation part about it, which is why, right? We'll never know actually why, right? But there's also the reality of the situation, which is Teofimo has needed another voice in his camp for a long time. He lacks strategy. He lacks an actual game planning for the fighters he's fighting against. He freestyles a lot. Well, we can all speculate as to why he freestyles that way, why him and his father, work the way that they do together. But at the end of the day, the result is the more important thing, which is how is this man going to compete at the highest level against punchers like Geron Boots Ennis, or even get in the ring with a cerebral fighter like Devin Haney, or fight a puncher like Ryan Garcia, somebody with one of the quickest left hooks I've seen. You know what I'm saying, in boxing. How are you going to compete at the highest level without actual strategy, with actual film study and understanding on how you're going to approach the fight? It's going to be difficult for Teofimo. And what's happened, in my personal opinion, on the speculation part of the conversation, is Teofimo's antics and cringeworthy nonsense that he gets himself involved with doesn't shine a good light on the people who work with him. And I think he's starting to realize what we talked about months ago when he was doing this, right? That you're going to reap this in the future. That right now you may feel like it doesn't matter, that you're getting all these benefits from it and you're on the camera and all publicity is good publicity. But ultimately, big money outside of Turkey Al-Ashuk, who might not even really realize how cringeworthy what you've been doing is, because he probably doesn't follow that nonsense, right? But big money is going to look at you, and they're going to have, when it comes to making decisions as to who to affiliate their brand with, and in their image with, they're gonna have to take into consideration that you out here talking about black people, sending them bananas and calling them monkeys and taking credit for things that whether you did or you didn't do, you sat there and took credit of watermelon and things of that nature getting sent to people's rooms. And you're always doing this, being confronted on camera by fans or content creators who are confronting you saying, why are you saying this? Why are you doing these things? And you trying to lie and say that it's just marketing and, we're all God's people. I'm doing it. All the nonsense you've been saying for the past couple of months. I think this thing with Eddie Reynoso probably represents a little bit of, just represents a little bit of the rewards, the stupid prizes you're getting for playing stupid games. Right? You're getting stupid prizes playing stupid games. You know what I mean? Canelo is a big brand, bro. And also, I think there's a part of it that we can take into consideration as well, that Canelo has an event that weekend as well on the 3rd, right? That he's fighting William Skull on the 3rd, and that most of the focus and energy is probably being focused on Canelo. And they don't want to separate, and they don't want to give you time. You know what I'm saying? They have to separate time. They want to give Canelo whatever time he wants. Eddie Reynoso, in my opinion, made the best decision on multiple levels. This is a decision I think Derek James would have done with Errol Spence, that he wouldn't have ended up in that situation. Errol Spence being your main guy, bringing in Ryan Garcia, bringing in Anthony Joshua, bringing in all these other distractions to the table. Errol needs all your focus. He needs to be your number one priority. But I don't get into the into y'all money issues, but trainers sometimes have to make those decisions. And I think Eddie Reynoso had to make a decision on how he's going to deal with it. And I think he chose Canelo, rightfully so. Bomac does that for Terrence, right? When Terrence is getting ready, it's all about Terrence. It seemed like Calvin Ford and them used to do that for Gervonta, right? When Gervonta has a fight, we all focus on Gervonta. Everybody else going to have to hold up. When we done with Gervonta, he's the most important thing. He's the cash cow. He's the main money. We're not going to separate our time and give you time and even potentially take away time from the cash cow. So, but like I said, there's a speculation part of the Teofimo Eddie Reynoso breakup, which is as to why Eddie Reynoso did it, as far as, was it Tio's antics? Was it his outside the ring activities that kind of put him in that position, slapping Honor Barbosa? We don't know. He's Mexican. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how connected or how that comes full circle around in any one kind of way, right? You're bringing negative publicity to yourself and in turn anybody connected with you,
Yeah, this is my thoughts, right, Clay?
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts is that, and this is the reason why I came to this conclusion, is that he fired him because of the antics.
Yeah.
Not because he was too busy. Now, it plays a part, right?
Right.
He's going to focus on Canelo. He's now going to head over to Saudi 3 weeks before the fight. Did you know that?
No, say it again.
Eddie and Canelo going to Saudi 3 weeks before the fight.
Exactly.
So that's like next week, right?
Right.
2 weeks. They got like the first week in April.
Yeah, first weekend, no late. Yeah, first weekend, yes.
Yeah, because
That'll be 3
he
weeks
wants to be there 3 weeks before the fight
to acclimate.
Right?
Right.
So does that play a part? Obviously, seeing as though he can't be in Saudi and then be in New York,
Right.
Or wherever they're going to train, Colorado, whatever, right? He can't do both. That's obvious, right? But it made it easy for him to make that decision because of the antics. And let me tell you why I came to that conclusion. Because he didn't even directly have a conversation with Tio or his father. He sent the message through somebody that he ain't working with them no more. That in itself, if he intends to work with them in the future,
he would have talked to him.
He would have just reached out to them and said, hey, listen, you know what? Me and Canelo decided that we just going to go 3 weeks ahead of time. We're not going to be available. You know what I'm saying? And I apologize. You know what I'm saying? I can't train you, bro. My focus is Canelo. Been with him since day one. You know what I mean? Hey, if we can make it happen. You understand?
Yes, sir.
If you want to work with somebody, you would do it. You know what I'm saying? Now listen to the difference. Ryan Garcia said he talked to Eddie Reynoso, and Eddie Reynoso talked to his father and said, listen, can you tell Ryan Garcia, hey, your dad gonna have to do it. I can't do it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Which is he gave him the common courtesy. Right. And hey, bro, I ain't gonna be able to do it, man. I gotta focus on Canelo, and they came to an agreement. Right. He sent a message through somebody to Teofimo Lopez's team the day before he was supposed to start training camp. Because Canelo, regardless of, and again, they have issues over there, right? We already know that. Clear as day, right? But the thing is, they are a class act in the public eye. Yeah. The way Canelo and Eddie carry themselves in the public and interviews, they're a class act, right? They don't do a whole bunch of cursing and disrespecting people.
Yeah, they're super media trained. Super media trained. They carry themselves the way they're supposed to when they get in front of those cameras. Period, bro.
With straight class.
Like look how he dealt with the Turkey situation when he was in there getting ready to fight Edgar Berlanga. Even though but he still did it in a way to where the bridge wasn't burnt, to where here he goes with a 4-fight deal later, $300+ $400 million deal later, was able to work with Turkey. Actually, he knows how to carry himself. He didn't sit there and go, I need 2 Ferraris and you know what I'm saying, 4 Ferraris and you know what I'm saying, and work on. He knew how to say no, but at the same time kept the door open to the possibility of doing business in the future. He's media trained. He knows how to speak. And English is his second language. And he still knows
they're not going to have themselves and their brand and their name attached to these antics.
No, they know how to deal
black people monkeys and bananas, and they ain't trying to be attached their brand to that.
You're smacking people on face-offs.
Right.
Trust me, it's not. It's all fun and games for the casual fan who just getting into the drama of it all. But the reality is, I could never have imagined Sugar Ray Leonard slapping Marvis Hagler.
No,
or Eddie Hearn. You know what I'm saying?
Canelo got in that scrum with Caleb.
But that was
slapped him first.
Exactly. He defended himself.
You know what I'm saying? And what did he say? Hey, man, we don't do that. We don't carry ourselves like that. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing?
Mr. Big Play said, so who Ryan with for this fight? I think he's still not working with Eddie Reynoso. I think he's still
with his dad.
Yeah, he's legitimately they have an understanding about Eddie Reynoso's plans with Canelo and going out there 3 weeks. That's a legitimate reason as to why that's happened. But it's interesting though, because even Ryan Garcia working with Turkey and working with Reynoso and jumping back into that circle, you see he's calmed down in the way he acts. He carries himself in a complete different way. And he's on a cleanup campaign, media campaign tour right now, doing interviews and, you know what I mean, kind of clarifying what happened. And he's trying to fix it up. Like, he understands, like, in order to be in these conversations for these paydays and all this money and these type of people, I got to carry myself a certain way. I can't play that game. T.O.'s still out of his element. Like, you could see, like,
yeah, he do too much, man.
He's doing a lot. He doesn't realize how to carry himself.
G, tat it up. I like how you. Man, I'm getting tired, Clay. G, tat it up, nephew. I like how you did that, man. You see how he spelled salute? Salute, man. That's dope.
Yeah,
that's dope. Salute, nephew. Kendall Styles, brother, back in the super chat, dropping a half a dub. He said, Blue, you know Ryan Allen, Charles Q, and Curtis Harper, too. I started out with them before I went over to Everett and Nate Campbell at PAL in Jacksonville. I know Curtis Harper. I don't know Ryan Allen and Charles Q. I know Curtis Harper, though. Hannibal, what's up, family? Yeah, boxing is a small world, man. I'm pretty sure I know who they are. Boxing is a very small world. But yeah, Clay, man, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's my thought. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that T.O. situation because, you know, he was genuinely hurt by that. But again, It's like you said, right, Clay? I think you said this on your channel, or maybe you just said it right now, but I'm not sure. But it's like he's genuinely delusional, right? Like he thinks that these antics he does is just antics. Like, he don't understand. I think you said this, like, he's tarnishing his brand and his name.
He's got to. This is going to stick with him when he doesn't want it no more. It's still going to be his. You feel me? When he feels like it's done, like when he got confronted by Najee, right? And he got confronted those times on the stages. You saw it in his face. He's like, "What are you talking about? You guys, it's just marketing. It's just marketing." And people are like, "Ain't nobody trying to hear that, bro. You was saying this crazy stuff, bro. Is nobody trying to hear that?" And he feels like, "Hold up, you guys are taking that seriously. You guys know I'm not. No, nobody feels like we know nothing, bro. Like Najee said, we done told you how we felt about it, and you double down and triple down, bro. Ain't nobody feeling that. You trying to call people soft because they're not laughing at that, or they're not riding with that energy, or they're not playing that game with you. You're just, it's somewhere along this process with Teofimo. He evolved as a boxer, he evolved as an athlete, but somewhere along the line, his growth as an adult got stunted. His growth going from being a child into being an adult, he got talking about he's trying to bring it back. Bring what back, bro? What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, and it's weird, right, Clay? Because it was like,
what are you talking about?
At one point, he was ETB. What's up, family? He was at one point, right? And then it's like he just took it's like, soon as this happened, well, that's strong. Peace of bless, Queen. It's like, soon as he got the divorce with his kid's mom, and that situation, it's just like a downward spiral. Like, it's like he went back to a baby or something, man.
I'd love to ask him, what do you mean by bring that back? What are you trying to bring back? I know you're not trying to bring back slavery, right? I get it. I don't think it's that bad with you, T.O., but I do find it interesting that you think it's cool and we should bring back, you know, people racially charging statements at each other and riling up the crowd on a racial, you know what I mean? Like, how violent is that? What is that worth, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much is that worth to you? I mean, do you think, are you giving the credibility to this deal you got with Turkey Al-Sheikh to your racist antics? You think that's why Turkey, man, I love it, man. You think that's what it is? Or do you think it's more so of the kind of fighter you are, and Turkey Al-Sheikh being a fan of boxing, understanding the kind of fighter you are, quality fighter you are, and how much of a good dance partner and how much matchmaking he can do with you to make the biggest fights? Do you think he signed you to that 3-fight deal because you have the heart to say anything racially charged that you know what I mean? Like, did you feel that's what it is? It didn't work with Terrence. It didn't get you a fight with Terrence. It hasn't gotten you a fight with Keyshawn. It hasn't gotten you a fight with Geron Boots Ennis. It hasn't hasn't gotten you a fight with Tank Davis. So where's the success? On what barometer or scale are you measuring the success of these antics to say that it's actually working?
Right.
You know what I mean? All you're doing is putting yourself in a position that every single time a microphone or a camera gets in front of your face, you and your father have to defend these racist antics. That's it.
And he don't realize another thing, right, Clay? He takes a loss, his career is over. See, people had a built-in excuse for him when he lost to Kambosos. If he loses to Barbosa, it's over.
100%, I agree.
Nobody gonna want to deal with him.
Nah. Turkey will honor the contract and put him in 2 other fights because he has a 3-fight deal. He'll do that, but you know, your options will become very limited. Tio, you just it don't make no sense what you're doing from the outside looking in, you know what I mean? But I'm sure you're the expert who, you know what I mean? Look, so do what you do, bro. We're here to watch it and we'll report on it as it comes together, man. We'll report on it as it comes together, man, for you. Hopefully it works out.
Stephanie D said, finally a day without Tank hate. Stephanie D, I'll give you $500 right now. You come tell us what we hated about on Tank. Please. I'll send you the link and send you $500 right now. You come and you tell us 3 things we hated on Tank Davis about.
I don't even think, I'm gonna be real with you. Stephanie D ain't been following none of the boxing talk because she's just been waiting on the Tank talk. Even if it's a hate, that's what she's here for. Did that even need to be said? Did you even need to mention that finally a day? We've been up here for over an hour now, and you finally said something, and the best thing you could say is finally a day without Tank hate. You came here for the Tank conversation. That's what you did.
Yeah.
That's what you did. You don't have no comment on thoughts on the Teofimo situation? You don't have any thoughts on Shakur Stevenson versus Gary Antoine Russell, or you have any interest in Sky Nicholson fighting against Tierra Brown this week? Those are females boxing. Alicia Baumgartner just signed to MVP. Why don't you say, hey, we haven't talked about that yet? Next week, Michaela Mayer is fighting Sandy Ryan. You don't have no interest in that, right? What'd you come here for? To come here and watch us talk about Tank in a bad way, so you'll be all in the chat, right?
Look at this. Look at this. Look. It's hate because 90% of the content you bring about him is negative, regardless if it's true or not. The fuck?
What?
So if I'm telling the truth, it's hate?
You said regardless if it's true or not. So what about the not? I mean, but look,
yo, Clay.
No offense, Queen. You know what I mean? I'm just saying at the end of the day, I don't see you really like, I don't see you like that, man. I thank you for being here. Make sure you hit the like button while you're here in the building. We appreciate your presence, man. Thanks for engaging, man. And
these people are weird, bro. I told you the Tank Davis fans, they rode the coupe of small buses. They ain't ride the small bus.
Appreciate you, Queen.
They rode the coupe of small buses, right? The 1-seater. They had a 2-seater small bus, right? Just the driver and them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the fanatics, they will say anything. Yeah, it can't be negative if it's true.
It's news.
So if you turn on the news and the news is telling you about all this crime, you like, man, I ain't listening to the news. All they talk about is negativity, even though it's true.
Right. Well, would it say negative regardless if it's true or not? I mean, I don't know, man.
Right. So tell us what's not true about it.
I don't know. Look up the definition. Just because it's true doesn't mean it's not hating.
How is it hate? No, it's debunking the lies. How about that he's a liar? How about that you are a liar? How about he's holding up the sport of boxing? How about I can't wait until he either fights the best or get up out the sport so we don't have to deal with people like you. Yeah. Because you ain't a fan of the sport of boxing.
Let me ask. I would ask her this, right? And I don't even want to make this a long-winded conversation, but just to say that 9 out of 10 times a channel that's celebrating Tank, how do they celebrate Tank? How do they do it? Isn't 90+% of the celebration of Tank the inferiority of all the fighters around him that people want to see him fight?
Well,
Isn't that
here's the thing.
how you celebrate him? Like, he doesn't give you guys any content. He don't say nothing on his social media to give to you guys to do content on. He doesn't.
He don't even like them, Clay.
He don't even show y'all no love. He doesn't pop up and say what's up to the fans on these channels and give y'all something
Clay,
to talk about.
He told them, if you see me in public, don't come up to me. He don't even like you.
Right? So how do you guys celebrate him? You celebrate him by saying he will knock out Keyshawn Davis. There's nothing. Y'all want Shakur to fight. Ha, 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 ha. Devin Haney lost against Ron. Ha. Isn't that what y'all do the whole time, is hate on everything else boxing except for him? Do you even celebrate? You appreciate? Is that what they do? They appreciate his career and the fights that he does put on, because the sport is dangerous no matter who you're facing. You're putting your life on the line. So is that what's happening on these channels? Are you guys celebrating his career, or are you guys attacking other fighters and attacking other fans of other fighters regularly?
But wait,
isn't that what you guys do?
I want to ask her this. If he ain't even fighting the best, why do you like him?
Right.
You know him from the sport of boxing. So, Stephanie, tell us why you like Tank. Based off of what? Because it ain't about competition, right?
Right.
So you don't care who he fights. So why do you like Tank? It ain't about boxing.
Yeah.
So why do you like him, Stephanie?
Tank has given you an introduction to a sport that you'd have no interest in if he wasn't fighting in, right? Like, you can go to the sports bar now and watch him fight on a pay-per-view and be part of the festivities of boxing, right? He gives you that access to jump into a space that you really weren't that fond of before. Or maybe you were fond of before, but you never had the heart to really speak into that space because you didn't follow the sport that close. So now Tank has introduced you and given you somebody, and now you have groups on the internet where you can sit behind your computer and go into rooms with 500, 600 people in the chat who all love Tank, and you guys can build this community, and all of you guys can communicate about boxing in your eyes, but not talk about nothing else but Tank. That's why. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, more Tank show. Yeah, Kevin Curran. Yeah, for sure. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you sit inside of a room where we're talking about Teofimo Lopez and Eddie Reynoso not working with each other. We're talking about Shakur Stevenson and Gary Antoine Russell. We're talking about all kinds of things boxing, right? We're not talking about Tank. And you didn't have nothing to say. I don't know what you've been saying in the chat the whole time, but finally you wanted to communicate, right? The Twitter fingers had to get active, so you put finally a show without hating on Tank. And here we are back on a topic now that now you can participate in, right? We're giving you the attention. You could talk now, but you got nothing to say about Scott Nicholson and Tierra Brown fighting on Saturday. Those are females putting it in, putting their lives on the line, giving you guys the shows and all those things that you were saying before. How come we're not talking about her? Are you going to watch them on Saturday? You don't care about them, right? You don't care about them. It's cool. You don't care about Michaela Mayer fighting Sandy Ryan. You don't care about Alicia Baumgartner signing with MVP and potentially getting a fight with Amanda Serrano or none of those fights.
You're missing the point. She don't even know who they are.
Exactly. I'm not missing the point. I'm hitting on the notes where I know she's sitting here going,
she don't know who those people are.
You don't care about that stuff because you don't watch boxing. Who's Brian Norman fighting next week? Who's Shushu Carrington fighting next week? Who's Emiliano Vargas fighting next week? Who's you know what I'm saying? These fights that are coming together, you know what I mean? Who is it that do you follow Honor Barbosa? Do you even know him fighting Teofimo Lopez? Do you even really know who Eddie Reynoso is? You don't know about none of this stuff. So that's why you sat there and said what you said. Because you commented on the one thing you do know about. And you saw that we weren't talking about that. You've been waiting a long time for us to mention something about that. Negative, as you said, but something that you understand, and now you're bored. So you steered the traffic down the lane of something that you can communicate about.
Right.
That you can talk in.
Right. We couldn't chime in on nothing else we talking about, but couldn't wait to mention Tank. Bro. It's the worst, bro. It's the worst, bro.
And then put the hate jacket on them. Put the hate jacket on them.
Bro.
90% of the stuff you talk about, is that what it is? Is that why you keep watching? Do you keep watching because 90% of the stuff we talk about is Tank Davis hate?
It's crazy, man.
Oh, Mr. Clean. Oh, my God. Yeah, man. Tell us how old you are.
She talking about
yeah, you ever want to tell somebody how old you are?
and y'all get mad at other channels that praise him. No, they don't praise him. They on their knees. There's a difference. Yeah, they are praising him.
First of all,
they praising him, but they looking at his waistline. And so we offered you to come here and explain. You scared to click the link. You'll do a bunch of talking and nonsense in the chat because you are not a fan of the sport of boxing. Period. As a matter of fact, you disrupted my show. Go about
I
it.
just don't understand. Y'all get mad.
Thank you, Mr. Big Play, bro.
Praise him. What's wrong with that? You're not praising him. The other channels aren't praising him. What you guys are doing
is lying.
Yeah, and lying, number one, and then hating on other. That's how you celebrate him, is by attacking us. It's coming over, to other. Nobody's over there hating on them, right? Like they doing whatever they do. You know what I mean? I'm not that type of person to watch something I don't want to see, or listen to something I don't want to hear. I don't know what they're saying, right? But I'm saying, generally speaking, it's knocking down other fighters, right? Terrence will come out and say something, and defend himself on Tank. So you guys will make the content about it. You'll attack Terrence, right? Shakur will say something about how he's not going to chase him around, and you'll attack him. That's how you guys celebrate him. It's a big hate campaign that you guys run all the way through the boxing space, based off of a fighter who doesn't give you any content to actually talk about. So you don't have any, he doesn't provide you with anything to talk about except for when he fights once to twice a year. So how do you guys celebrate him all year long? You hate on everybody else. And then you come on here and say, we hate him all the time. When that's y'all main thing. You even being in the building, speaking, talking about we hating is hate. Why are you even here? Why would you even come to the channel to hear your favorite fighter be hated on? Your whole entire narrative, the whole foundation to your existence is based on hate. That's what you do in the sport, is hate on everybody who's not Tank. We watch y'all do it all the time. Doing it right there. Mr. Clean.
Yeah. And the thing is, right, Clay, they'll get up here and just flat out lie, and that's okay. She won't see, they don't have no dignity. They don't have no pride, no morals, right? I'm not going to sit there and listen to you. I'm a 49er fan, right, Clay? Imagine me listening to a 49er channel and they like, yeah, because the Niners, they won 7 Super Bowls. Wait, what? Excuse me?
What are you saying?
Yeah, man. Imagine this, Clay. They just going on, yeah, because the Niners, we won 7 Super Bowls. Bro, I'm the biggest Niner fan alive. I call myself Big Niner. I'm gonna be like, bro, what are you talking about? We won 5 Super Bowls. You're lying. I can't listen to this. I can't even listen. I can't even pretend to listen to this. But no, Clay, people like her, right? Clay, they'll say, yo, Clay, it's so bizarre, bro. Yo, they'll sit there and listen. Yeah, he did 700,000 pay-per-view. Yeah. Bro, what are you talking about? You know he ain't do 700,000 pay-per-views.
It's crazy, bro.
He did 700,000 pay-per-views. Yeah. Tank made $40 million. Yeah. What the hell are you talking about? So then, if I come behind that and be like, bro, I get all these people now, yeah, Tank did this, Tank did, and now I make a video and address it, you're lying.
Yeah.
Oh, see, man, you being negative, bro. Santa Claus do exist. You ain't got to tell the people Santa Claus don't exist.
That's just hate.
That's just hate. Bro, it's just, I've never seen
it is funny, man. It is, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. It really is funny, man. Like, it's funny, man. Like,
it's disturbing.
Genuinely to see you guys act like this, it's
disturbing,
crazy, man.
It's
I'm
disturbing,
not gonna lie
Clay, because again, like I said, it's like the Joker, right? You got the mob, and they remember the Dark Knight, right? He had the Dark Knight, the mobsters. They had their group of their people and every mob boss, right? And then the Joker came along, and his people was diabolical, right? Like his group, his soldiers was just diabolical. They had they was dealing with mental health issues and all types of weird stuff, right? It was truly unorthodox, just off the charts. You know what I'm saying? Right? Just hey, remember he told one of his soldiers, you gonna take him out. They're his
Right.
own soldiers.
Right,
You
right,
take
right.
him out. What are you here for? I'm here to take out the driveway. Like they just
And then at the end,
diabolical.
he just took out the last dude, murdered everybody, and took all the bread.
Yeah.
Because people are so easily, you know what I mean? People are so greedy, bro. They're so
Right.
greedy. They don't think they could get done dirty. You're about to do something dirty, and you think the person next to you is above doing something dirty as well. Like you
Right.
think, you know what I'm saying? You think so when they ask you to do something dirty, you do it. I'm special, yeah, no doubt, man. But
Right.
you know what I mean? Off your own greed, he's capitalizing on that. And look,
Right.
shout out to Brandy Jones, who decided to chime in on this and say showbiz lies, and he doesn't show hate, and these other names that you said in there, you know what I'm saying, that celebrate and give flowers. Tank can get his flowers, bro, right? Tank can get his flowers. I don't know. I think she's basically trying to say that we're sitting here trying to paint, basically saying that these people find a way to give Tank his flowers and we don't give him his flowers, right? But what's the reality, right? It's we give him his flowers. How do we give him his flowers? We want him to get in the biggest fights. We celebrate him for what he actually does in the sport and for the talent that he actually has, and we speak about it in that way. But I understand where you're coming from, Brandy, because watching us get into it with Tank fans may look like we're getting into it with Tank, right? It may look like we're aiming at him when really the reality is we're going the wars with you guys, right? Because if we hold him accountable and we talk about him making the biggest fights or him being the A side and, you know, trying to put pressure for him to send offers out to these fighters to put these fights together and do what I believe even you want, Brandy, right? I think even you want to see him in these fights, but you guys don't want us to call him out on it. You don't want us to speak on it in that way. You only want us to celebrate him with no regards to anything else. Even Showbiz has gotten the hate. Shout out to Showbiz, who you celebrated here and says he gives him his flowers, but he'll also say he should go up to 140, right? But you'll also hear Showbiz say, I don't even like talking about Tank no more, right? Why does he say that? He says, because the Tank fanatics are out of their mind, right? He also says that, right? Doesn't he, Brandy? He says, I don't even want to talk about him. I think he's great. That's why I want to see him in the biggest fights. But you guys want Tank to be protected, and you don't want him to fight nobody. You don't think Tank can fight somebody at 140. He's too big. He's too big for Tank. You just want him to get, you know what I mean? That's how you guys treat him with white gloves. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, when you watch us and you come on the channel and you watch us defend ourselves against people who are saying that we're haters and that we're putting, you know, they put all these weird jackets on us, and you hear us talking like this, you say, oh man, there they go hating again. Because in your perfect world, we just sit here and just shut up and acquiesce to all the nonsense you're talking about and admit our wrongs and, you know, not ask Tank to do anything.
It's like this, right, Clay? They're okay with you sitting there lying to bolster his stats. You can lie, but don't tell the truth about it.
Right.
We're supposed to sit here and allow people to lie. Right. And then you say, okay, well, you want me to give him his flowers for doing what? What do you want me to give him flowers for doing?
What did he say? You guys don't time out certain people, man. Like, I don't think Brandy Jones say nothing crazy that's insulting. She might be saying something I don't agree with, but let me see what she says. That he has given us multiple big fights. Really? Okay. It seems like you only respect people by big names. Really? Okay. All these fighters deserve equal respect. Like the other woman said, the sport is dangerous. Wow, Brandy. I mean, I appreciate that. You guys didn't need to time her out for saying that. But, you know, once again, you know, not to call you out as a casual fan, but what big fights? Ryan Garcia, somebody who was depleted and brought down to 136 with a rehydration clause. What big fights? Mario Barrios, you know what I'm saying? He's given us a few fights, but no, the big fights are the fights that people are asking for still. It's not about hating Tank. Like, what reason do you think people, and I'd love to know the answer to this, what reason would people have to, in particular, hate Tank? Right? Outside of boxing, right? Outside of wanting to see certain fighters, outside of that, what particular reason would we hate him for? Right? It's not about hating him. It's about you've been misguided and you think that him fighting Hector Garcia is a big fight, right? You think him fighting, you know, you think these fights that he's a big fighter. He's an attraction. He fills up the arena. People come to see him fight. But what big fights has he given you for real? Honestly. What big fights has he given you? What, the Frank Martin fight? The Lamont Roach fight was a good fight. Turned out to be a real good fight. The sequel, this next fight that they're about to fight, I think is going to be a big fight. This next fight is going to be based off of how Lamont Roach performed in that first fight, right? But no, that's not what it is. It's not what it is. And all fighters aren't equal. They're not all equal. Sorry. They're equal in their rights to live and be respected and all that thing, but they're not equal. Hector Garcia is not Shakur Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? We don't got to lie and say that. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Garcia at 136 isn't Ryan Garcia at 140. Right? They're not all equal that way. You guys got to stop, man. You guys got to stop, man, and allow and just listen, man. You don't want to see him fight nobody. It's all good. But when you guys come out on these channels like here and attack us for speaking the truth, something that the whole space is saying, and you want to turn it into, what is it? Let me guess. We're hating on him because he's a black man who tried to make it. Is that why we're hating on him? It's because he's a black man? Is that what it is? Because he's a black man coming out the ghettos of Baltimore, and you guys can't stand him because is that why we're saying what we're saying?
The thing that kills me the most, Clay, is that we give them the opportunity. Come speak your piece. But they know they're gonna sound bizarre, so they won't do it. Right? They'll just say these things in the chat because you can. Right? Social media has just given you this opportunity to say whatever you want without any kind of accountability. That's the problem. Yeah. Kendall Styles, my brother in the super chat, dropping that Cinco on the super chat. He says Stephanie D got 2 chromosomes and they both fighting for 3rd place. Just so you know, 3 is after 2, love. Jill, you can't make this stuff up, man. Paul Ruffin, my brother in the super chat. He said, keep cooking, Blue and Clay. I'm listening. Salute, family. It just gets diabolical. It's just draining, bro. I don't even know how I even allowed that to even sink into this beautiful show we was just having. LT number 1 energy, brother in the super chat, dropping that Cinco. He said, I got a couple of homies that were diehard Tank fans, but they've seen through the smoke now. It's not his skill set, but the fight selection. Right. Brandy Jones. We'll give you the link so you can come up here and speak your piece. We won't even address it. Just want to hear what you got to say. You willing to do that?
Kelvin Hutton. Brandy Jones. I think she was speaking her mind. She wasn't insulting none of us. She wasn't.
Yeah, that's why I said I want to give them the platform to say, Kelvin Hutton, brother in the super chat. He said, "What do you think about Jadar Hara?" You know what? I like him, right? Yeah, Clay. His performance was disappointing, seeing as though it was a good performance, right, Clay? But right. I was expecting more, seeing as though the way you calling out Shakur Stevenson so aggressively, and you saying that he ducking you. I thought the performance was underwhelming.
Right. I mean, he got into it. He sat in there and showed that he's willing to punch, right? But I didn't see nothing in that fight to say that he would beat Shakur Stevenson or even compete. He did some Floyd Schofield Jr. type of performance to a degree. You know what I'm saying? Like he sat there and punched it out with the guy, and I think he's going to be a great dancing partner for the Abdullah Masons, for even Floyd Schofield Jr., for Andy Cruz, for for the up and coming fighters at 135. He's definitely one of those guys, and he's going to be a great dancing partner. I love to see him fight. I think he has more developing to do. And I look forward to seeing him develop and becoming that fighter. Or let's just see him get a different look at least. I'd like to see him in the ring with a Giovanni Cabrera or what's my guys, a Joe Cordina, or I'm willing to see him get into these other fights. Let's see him get the step-up fights that he needs to go ahead and prove himself. But right now, he's just punching it out with the people in the ring with him, and it's entertaining. From a boxing fan to watch him perform that way, it is entertaining. But is he in the conversation of fighting a Shakur Stevenson? Unfortunately, I don't see that. I don't see that for him right now.
No. Little Minnie, peace and blessings, Queen. Thank you. In the super chat, dropping that Cinco. Hey, Mr. Blue, I came for some of this truth boxing talk. Blessings to you. Much love. Yeah, we was talking. I don't know. I got to stop allowing these things to just distract us. Yeah, it's just man, we having a nice, great conversation, and Just here they come, bro. Just I gotta stop that, man. Victor Griffin, brother in the super chat, dropping that Cinco on the super chat. Salute, Blue and Clay. Now that Miss D opened the door, do you all think that Tank never live up to our expectations, being that he's never fought the top? He don't have no that's the thing, Victor Griffin. That's what Clay was saying. He has no intentions of doing it.
Right.
It's just about the money.
Right. He's upset at boxing. He's not giving boxing anything. He's taking from boxing and leaving. That's his game plan. I'm not giving you guys nothing. I'm taking and I'm leaving. That's how he feels about it. Shout out to who was that, Angle Conway or Angie or Angle Conway, who said how was he depleted when he chose to catch weight of 136? He didn't choose it. He accepted it. That's what I'm talking about with you guys, right? Like, I'm okay with it. Look, Ryan Garcia did accept those terms and he lives and dies by the terms he picked. I'm not making excuses for him, but I'm just saying we know there's an asterisk there. Like I said, Ryan Garcia at 136 pounds is not the same as Ryan Garcia at 143 pounds for a reason, right? They made him fight at 136 for a reason, right? Now you're talking about advantages and, the advantage, and you're talking about Tank had to also stick to the rehydration clause. Tank is naturally a 135-pound fighter. That's his perfect weight class. So, of course, he can commit to doing that. He's walking around at 138, 142 pounds, you know what I'm saying, before, when he's not even getting ready for the fight, right? So it is what it is. Ryan Garcia made his bed, but we're not going to act like Ryan Garcia at 136 is the same at Ryan Garcia at 143. D-Boy said on PEDs, I'm saying for sure, right? Like, he's not the same fighter, clearly, right? The fighter that's getting in the ring with Rolly Romero at 147 pounds to fight for that interim WBA title, you're not going to sit here and tell me that's the same fighter Tank fought. We know that's two separate fighters, right? And it's not throwing shots at Tank, but it's just saying from the fans, once again, getting into it with you guys, that doesn't check the boxes for us. We want to see him fight the fighters in his division, like Shakur Stevenson, who don't need the rehydration clause, who are naturally at their 135. And even if they do get a rehydration clause, they can easily do it because that's their weight class. It's not bringing down somebody from another weight class to compete with you. It just is what it is. It is what it is. How can you sit there and tell me that Ryan Garcia fighting at a catch weight of 136 is the fair thing, and that if we didn't do it that way, he'd have an unfair advantage over Tank, and then in the same breath tell me that the Ryan Garcia who's fighting at 147 is the same Ryan Garcia that Tank fought? Do you know what I'm saying? You're acknowledging right now that there was a disadvantage there for Tank. So maybe don't fight him at all. I don't know. But you fought him. You made your money. I'm not knocking the fight on the strength of the fight happening. I'm saying that doesn't check the box as the same kind of fight as fighting somebody who doesn't need that rehydration clause. It doesn't. It just is what it is. We should be able to accept that. We should be able to accept the truth and be like, all right, truth. Yeah, clearly, he doesn't fight at 135. Clearly, he had to do the fight at 136. Being depleted changes your whole resistance on your punches, right? Changes the whole resistance on a whole bunch of things. And yeah, Tank beat him. That's what's up. But yeah, I still want to see Tank fight a fight without those things because I want to see how he deals with that, with that adversity. Because I think he's good enough to do it. He's willing to fight. All of a sudden, he was willing to fight Ryan at 140 now, right? Supposedly. That's what he said after he fought after the whole Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia situation. He said, I'll fight Ryan again. I'll probably fight him at 140. Why is he willing to do it now? Why is he willing to do it now? Why? Because he sees he can't make the 140? You know what I'm saying? Because he sees he needs to fight at a minimum 140. He's going around telling everybody, I can't make that weight. I'm telling you, I couldn't do it. I can't make that weight. He's saying it. So all of a sudden, I'll fight him at 140. I'll make him fight at that weight class. Come on, bro.
He can't make the weight, right, Clay? He said that he would be a fool to fight Ryan Garcia that big, right? And clearly, go ahead, Clay.
Yeah, no, I mean clearly, yeah. He knows. We understand the significance of weight classes. We understand the significance of of how weight works on these you can call them weight bullies if you want or whatever you want, but we understand that depleting a fighter, removing that much liquid from a fighter affects his brain, affects everything, affects his ability to take a punch and everything. We understand how that works. If we're boxing fans, we understand how that works. And if Ryan Garcia decides to sign a contract to put himself in a position where he's fighting in a depleted form, that's on Ryan Garcia. There's no excuses for Ryan Garcia, right? But at the end of the day, that doesn't check the box. There's an asterisk next to that fight. Just in a real way, there just is. It's an inconvenient truth or whatever. It's just the truth. And then don't tell me that what's the difference? Oh, when he fought at 143, please, he was in better shape than when he was at 136. What are you talking about? First of all, Ryan's gone on record to say that he wasn't, that he was depleted, and he'll never allow himself to be taken advantage of that way, of that ever in his life, right? But what do you mean he was healthier? What are we talking about? No, he wasn't. He wasn't healthy to be in a combat situation with a dude with a 93% knockout ratio, and he don't got no water around his brain. Come on, bro. We know that's not true. We know that's not true. We don't got to paint that picture and talk that nonsense. We know that's not true. It is what it is, man. Let me see here. Because all that moved up, Clay, he know it's not going to happen. Exactly, Rich. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Nick says, but since he beat Ryan, let me see. That's what Tank fans on. Yeah, those fights will happen when they happen. I guess so, Tanker, Yanker Cruz. They will, but they don't need to happen. I'll tell you that right now. Now, for me, I don't care. I don't care if they happen. Like I said earlier on my show today, the only thing is don't ask me to sit here and get that man accolades for something he didn't do. That's all I'm saying. I don't care if he fights those fights no more. I don't think those fighters care if they fight him no more. I think Shakur is okay with and kind of partially accepted that he may never fight Tank. He's just being optimistic, but he's like, yo, I might not fight Tank, so I got other fights I'm gonna make. We're not studying this no more, man. This whole entire thing is moving on. It's moving on. Who wins between Zoo and Spencer? I expect Zoo to win that fight. Mig Z 187. I expect Zoo to win that fight. I think that fight is tailor made for him to win it. I think that's the whole point of that fight, to get him ready to make that fight with Keith Thurman. I expect him to win it. You know what I'm saying? Tanker Yanker Cruz says Thurman versus Crawford. I don't know why you said that. I don't know about that one. Let me see. He hit 24. All of them. Shakur made the same as Tank on an undercard. Yeah. The Cardenas, I think this year somebody going to really get exposed at 135 to 147. Remember, I told y'all first. We'll remember that, Cardenas. We'll give you all the props for that. Angle Conway said Ryan Garcia said the rehydration clause they couldn't gain more than 10 pounds by the morning of the fight. But the rest of yeah, man. I hear you, Angle, man. I can't explain to you no more. Like, if you're where you're at with the understanding of that rehydration clause, and I'm willing to accept that and agree to disagree with you. I just can't. I'm not going to argue with you because I don't think we should be arguing with each other, bro. I don't know you, and I don't want us to be arguing like that, right? If you feel like that was worth it and that there was nothing awkward about that situation, I'm okay with that, right? I have my understanding of it, and I know it gets deeper than that. You know, I'm sorry. It just does. It gets deeper than that. That rehydration clause is there for a reason. It's not there for no reason. It serves a purpose, and it doesn't serve a purpose of helping Ryan. It helps Tank, which is okay. He's the A side, and he can operate and wield his A side privileges as he sees fit, or as his handlers see fit. But at the end of the day, there are fights out there that need to happen in order for him to be in the conversations y'all want him to be in. And if he's not going to do those fights, we can celebrate him and let him get his paydays. Jake Paul also gets paid a lot of money to fight, but we're not going to sit here and play no games. If somebody comes to the table right now and be like, yo, Jake Paul's resume is pretty, his resume said, we're not going to have that dumb conversation about that, right? We're just not, because we know better, right? We know he's Jake Paul. You know what I mean? And he hasn't fought nobody for us to be talking about him that way. It's the same way. It's the same way when it comes to this conversation. Sorry. I think it hurts you guys and frustrates you guys a lot. I think I get that, but I think you guys miss the point that it's going to take him fighting certain fights for him to get that, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. What am I missing here? The way it's laid out there, getting 2 nights rest, basically to rehydrate. Exactly, Texas 16. Come on, man. We know the truth. We know the truth. Okay, Larry Thomas says you're not making sense. You don't believe Ryan when he said he didn't purposely take PEDs, but you believe him when he said he wasn't in shape when he fought Tank capping. Damn, Larry, like, you know what I mean? You worked hard on that one, huh? You worked hard on putting that together. So do I believe he took PEDs on purpose or not? I don't care if he did. The point of him having PEDs in his system isn't based around whether he intentionally did it or didn't do it. It's the fact that it was in his system and he's being held accountable for what was in his system. Larry, Larry, it's not about believing him. I don't care about believing him. I'm not upset with him because I think he took PEDs in order to get an advantage, right? That's not my point at all, right? So, unfortunately, Larry, that was just a pointless statement you made, right? It means nothing. And it was a stupid way to try to bring it full circle to discredit Ryan as somebody who was telling the truth about what the depletion did to his body, right? It was a dumb way to bring it full circle, right? I don't have to accept one. He could have taken PEDs on purpose to win the fight and lied about that, but he can also physically be depleted at 136. It makes sense. We know he's never fought at that weight since then, right? He's never fought there. He hasn't even made 140 since then. He's getting ready to fight at 147 pounds with Rolly Romero, right? Right. So one thing doesn't, that triangle theory nonsense you just did right there was wasted a lot of time putting that text message together, man. It was a waste of your time, and capping was just, I hope you're not over 40 years old.
These people are way
not over 40. You know what I mean? Mario Barrio said that he ordered rehydration because Tank was coming from 130 and he was way naturally bigger than him. So to try to make it on an even playing field. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Mario Barrios is at 147 pounds right now. You know what I mean? That's okay. That's okay, man. That's what's up. That doesn't replace a Keyshawn Davis fight or a Shakur Stevenson fight or none of the fights that we're talking about him getting in the Devin Haney fight or, it doesn't replace those fights. Those guys aren't too big. It is an even playing field with those guys. Well, not Devin. And Tio would have to cut down. But with Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis, that's an even playing field. Those guys are 135 pound. Not only are they 135 pound fighters, they're 135 pound champions. Why not fight those guys?
Right.
What you saying is stupid. Okay, Larry. He said he made the 136 easy. Did he? So he didn't. He don't fight at 140 till after Tank fight. Stop. Oh,
he never said he made 136 easy. If he did, man, come on, man. Salute to Dion, brother, in the super chat, dropping that Cinco. He says supporting the grind. Appreciate you, great brother.
Cheese says and Tank.
Man, these people be just saying anything, Clay. They'll say anything, bro.
Money, May. Clay, you've been cooking, but that's where it all falls apart. Tank has done more than his classmates, in my opinion. It's just that he's not fighting the fights the fans want, and Tank's asking us why we are rating those guys. Is Tank really the yardstick because of Money May? So let me just read this again real quick here, right here. So that's where it all falls apart. Tank has done more than his class.
Let's read the super chat itself.
Okay.
And salute to my brother Charles Edward Cheese in the super chat. On this in the super chat. Go ahead, Clay.
Yeah, he says, Clay, you've been cooking, but that's where it all falls apart. Tank has done more than his classmates, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't know what you mean by done more than his classmates. You know what I'm saying? But let's just continue. It says it's just that he's not fighting the fights the fans want. That's true. And Tank's asking us why we are rating those guys. I don't know. Why wouldn't we rate those guys? Is Tank really the yardstick because of Money May? No, I don't think so. I think Tank is a super talented, high-level boxer, and we believe that the Shakur Stevensons and the Keyshawn Davises and the Teofimos are high-level boxers as well. I gotta disagree with you when you say he's done more than his classmates. On what scale? What do you mean he's done more? What do you mean as far as selling, as far as making more money, as far as being more popular, or what do you mean by that? I'm confused a little bit.
Cheese, he hasn't done more than his classmates, right? He hasn't done more than Devin Haney. He hasn't done more than Teofimo. He hasn't done more than Shakur Stevenson. What he has, right, Cheese, is he has the co-signing of Floyd Mayweather.
Right.
That's what he had. And what that entailed, what that helped him do was be super popular. Floyd Mayweather directly passed him the baton like he did Canelo Alvarez. That made him super popular. He has not accomplished more or fought better opposition than Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney.
I don't think he
Now
is.
you can argue the Shakur Stevenson resume compared to his, right?
135.
But you cannot argue that he's done more than Shakur's a 3-division champion and a unified champion. Tank has never unified the belts. He's only held the official belts twice in his career, right? He's not done more than Devin Haney, who's been undisputed, who Teofimo Lopez, the unified champion at lightweight, and these fighters were in Tank Davis class. Shakur Stevenson, Clay, is Johnny come lately to, no disrespect to Shakur Stevenson, but the four kings is Ryan, Devin, Tank, and Teo.
Right.
Right? He has not done more than Teofimo Lopez. Teo has fought Josh Taylor, who was the undisputed junior welterweight, but got stripped of his belts due to inactivity. He didn't lose in the ring. He beat Lomachenko. He beat and knocked out Richard Comey for his belt. Right? He has some questionable fights on his resume.
For sure.
Right? Some questionable wins. But his solid fights with Jermaine Ortiz. He lost to Kambosos, right? Sandor Martin. We see how Sandor Martin looks today's time.
Right.
Right? So Devin Haney went to Australia twice and then came back and beat Lomachenko, became undisputed, beat Regis Prograis, who Tank refused to fight. Let's not forget, when Tank went to 140, right, after Ryan pulled out the negotiations, because that's what happened. He was supposed to fight Ryan. Ryan pulled out the negotiations, told him he had the Pacquiao fight. Tank went to 140. Regis Prograis was raising his hand. Tank refused to fight Regis Prograis because he was saying that he wasn't a 140-pounder. And then he said that he ain't even want to fight Barrios, that Floyd was setting him up.
Yeah.
Right? And so he fights Barrios. He didn't want to fight. Regis was calling him out. Josh Taylor was calling him out. He didn't want to fight them. Devin Haney beats Regis Prograis. Then fights the same Ryan Garcia, but a more put together Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. I think
no, Cheese, you can't say you said Teo's the only classmate with a better Devin Haney. Devin Haney beat Kambosos, who beat Teofimo Lopez. He beat him twice in Australia for undisputed. He beat Regis Prograis. He fought Ryan. Now, the Ryan that he fought and the Ryan that Tank fought is two different Ryans. They two different Ryans. And he beat Lomachenko, who Tank was not trying to fight.
Yeah, I mean, recently he tried to fight him, but come on, man. Asterisks. We all know. Most people, comment and say asterisks. We know. Come on, Loma's out of his prime. Bad back, older, not in his prime at all. I mean, yeah, I give him his props that he tried to fight him. I still think it would have been a good fight if they fought each other, but they didn't fight each other. I'll let that one go. But outside of that, he has these fights that he needs to make. Man, the man said he's getting ready to, Lamont Roach kind of, I don't want to say saved the day, but in a way did by bringing so much value to that fight by competing at that level. And we all interested in the sequel. But there's rumors going around that after that, he's trying to fight Jake Paul.
No, Cheese. Ryan Garcia, the Ryan that fought Tank was completely weight drained. He was not training. Okay, he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do against Tank Davis. I told you guys that. Yeah. I told you guys that. That's why his trainer, Goosen, walked out. He was not training. He was going and training 2 times a week. I told y'all that. He was going to a spa. That was it. He wasn't showing up like he was supposed to. He had the rehydration clause, and he was weight drained. He was 2 years and 2 fights removed from fighting at 135. And then he fought him at a catchweight of 140, 136 with a 10-pound rehydration clause. And look how he looked.
You saw it,
right?
man.
And I told you guys 1,000 times over, right? That I was told many times Ryan Garcia was not training. He was training at his house and in his garage and all types of stuff for Tank. The same thing that y'all saw with the antics he was doing with Devin Haney. It was just more on display.
Yeah.
It was just more on display with Devin Haney because he just decided to tell the world he didn't care. So you knew he wasn't training with Devin Haney. You knew he was partying and drinking. He was doing the same thing with Tank. I told you guys that. And then he broke his ribs in sparring before the Tank fight. And Tank and his team admitted that they told you they knew he was injured going into the fight.
Bro, come on.
Don't even respond to that. Just yeah, just goodbye.
Oh man, look, it's about that time for me. I ain't gonna lie. I gotta come.
Oh yeah. We about to get out of here. Salute to my brother Charles Edward Cheese, brother. Back in the super chat. On this in super chat. It was just the resume portion. Sorry, the chat was a little delayed. Salute, family. My eyes saw Ryan faster and more aggressive with Tank. Ryan was tired and lazy against Haney.
Ryan was chasing his own ending with Tank. He was trying to get the best that he can get out because he knew he wasn't going to last. He knew he didn't have it in him. So that's why he was over pursuing him and swinging on him like that. He was trying to get everything he had. Ryan spoke on this. I mean, it is what it is.
And then you got to keep this in the consideration, Cheese. Ryan told you Devin Haney is my toughest fight before he fought Tank. He told you. So his approach to Devin Haney was completely different than it was Tank.
Right.
It was completely different. He was like, hey, once I hit Tank, it's over. He was very irresponsible. He was just throwing wild left hooks continuously, right? Making a lot of mistakes, and he paid the price.
Yeah, he was going for it. He knew he didn't have it for 12 rounds with Tank. That's why he took that knee when he got hit with that body shot like that. G Tatted, you're saying that Loma looked like he was in his prime because he knocked out Kambosos? Brother, he wasn't. Okay, he was in that locker room after his biggest victory, talking about retiring. Talking about the only reason he was going to stay in boxing was for his father to go ahead and chase undisputed, that he was ready to go. Does that sound like somebody who's in their prime? On the fight of his night that you're saying he looked like he's back, that man's in the locker room doing interviews talking about retiring, bro. Come on, guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he went for it against Tank, but Cheese, he was not he was 2 years and 2 fights removed from fighting at 135. He looked like a skeleton.
Yeah, it looked bad. Blue, I'm gonna cut out, man. I got a wife waiting on me. I gotta bounce out. I appreciate all you guys. Salute to all you guys. Salute Cheese. Salute to Brandy. What was her name? Brandy something or another. That's how you know what I mean, disagree and speak. I like the way she was carrying it. You know what I'm saying? The respect should always be there. I'm always gonna push for that. It's Ramadan for me, so you know I don't want to get too crazy with you guys. Respect should always be there. It's just boxing, man. You know what I mean? It's just boxing. None of us know each other personally, but taking things and turning them into personal attacks is just unnecessary. Salute to everybody who's in the building. Yeah, hit that link at the top of the chat if you haven't done it, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate the support, man. Thank you, Blue, man, for always.
No doubt, great brother. And enjoy your night with the wifey.
Yeah, we about to go. I got to break fast. I didn't do that. I'm out of pocket. I should have some water near me, something like that.
He said I'm out of pocket.
I'm out of pocket, man.
I'm out of pocket.
I need more than nothing. You know what I'm saying? I got to get myself together, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what you say, Clay? I'm out of pocket?
I'm out of pocket, man. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here chilling, the mouth cotton mouth. I'm getting these conversations. I had a bit of water in me all day. I didn't eat nothing, you know what I mean? At all, bro. So I got to get it together right now, man. Alhamdulillah, man. We went through another fast, man.
Yeah. Hey, enjoy your night, great brother. Hey, do me a favor, people. Go subscribe to my brother Claymore Rain. The link to his channel is right there, pinned up in the chat. Click the link and go subscribe to my brother Claymore Rain. Take the time out, take the moment out, go subscribe to my brother Claymore Rain. The link to his channel is right there, pinned up in the chat. Click the link and subscribe to his channel. We will be back on tomorrow. So salute to my brother Clay. He got to go handle business.
Tomorrow I'll be on probably about 11:30. 11:30. I got a dentist appointment at 9 in the morning. But I think I got Gary Russell Jr. coming tomorrow to come build. You know what I'm saying?
That's coming. I'm tapped in.
Yeah, definitely. You know what I'm saying? I'll get the thumbnail up and all that. So you guys definitely tap in tomorrow morning about 11:30. We're gonna go up. We're gonna have Gary Russell Jr. on there talking about what's going there and talking about everything else boxing. Show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm tapped in for that. Cheese said Garrett's spicy cheese corn is back Saturday's treat.
Garrett's spicy cheese corn is back Saturday's treat. Okay. I don't know. I'm lost a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. What does that mean, Blue?
I guess it's like a special. They bringing it back on Saturdays.
Oh, okay. A restaurant. Okay, that's what's up, Cheese, man. Enjoy that chicken, man. Cheese, I hope your health is on point, you know what I'm saying? And you're doing everything because I know you was kind of dealing with that. So I'm glad to hear you're in good spirits, man. And I hope everything's working out for you, brother.
All facts, Cheese. All facts, man.
Salute, family. Let me go chase it down, man. Thank you guys again, man. We'll build tomorrow.
All right, great, brother. See you tomorrow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Salute to my brother Claymore Rain, man. Salute. But back to the topic at hand, man. I want to see this I hope that Turkey Al-Sheikh just go ahead and allow Geron Boots Inis to go ahead and unify the belts. Don't push for, Geron Ennis to fight Teofimo Lopez or any of these other guys. I just want to see Boots go ahead and unify the belts. That's his goal. That's his plan. Not stop short of his goal and his plan. Because Teofimo Lopez, yes, Teofimo Lopez is a marquee name. Is he a bigger name marquee than Brian Norman? Yes. Is he a bigger name marquee than Mario Barrios? Yes. But for Boots' legacy and what he wants to accomplish, he wants to be undisputed, right? That's more important, right? And so, I hope that Robert Chandler, what's up? I hope that Geron Ennis sticks to his plan, and I would much rather Turkey go ahead and make the Shakur Stevenson Teofimo Lopez fight. You understand what I'm saying? Make that fight, right? That's more realistic anyway, right? Than Teo going and fighting Geron Ennis, who's the unified champion in his debut at 147 pounds, right? I would much rather see, put them on the same card, right? Let's get Shakur versus Teo, right? And Boots versus Brian Norman on the card with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia rematch, right? Assuming everybody wins outside of Shakur because he don't have a fight. But Boots got a fight April 12th against Amanda Stanionis. Teo got a fight against Barboza and Devin and Ryan, right? So Devin and Ryan win their fights. Jose Ramirez, obviously, Rolly Romero. They win those fights. They're going to fight in October. We already know this, right? So how about let's put Boots versus Brian Norman in October, and let's put Shakur versus Teo in October on the same card, right? You ain't even got to have no more undercard. You ain't got to put nothing else on the undercard. And if you want to filibuster the undercard, you can. Right? But, I personally would like to see Geron Ennis become undisputed at 147 and have his opportunity. And or Brian Norman. I want to see Brian Norman, should he beat Geron Boots Ennis, right? Which I think is the biggest threat to Boots Ennis at 147. Right? He beats Geron Boots Ennis. He's the unified champion, 3 belts. He gets the big payday. him and his father, Brian Norman Sr., deserve it. I want to see that. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I want to see Brian Norman and Boots Ennis. That's a much more exciting fight to me. A much more, and no disrespect to Teofimo Lopez, it's a much more competitive fight than Boots and Teofimo Lopez. Not to say Teofimo can't be competitive against Boots, but I would much rather see Brian Norman, who's a welterweight, fight against, Geron Boots Inis, and for a title. That's what I would much rather see. Him fight, those guys fight with the belt on the line. That's what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? Bizzo128, what's up? I don't want to appreciate you, nephew. G tatted up. Teofimo Lopez fight is just a defense for you know what I look at the Teofimo Lopez fight as? For Geron Ennis. You know what I look at it as? It puts me in the mindset of when Bernard Hopkins fought Trinidad and Oscar De La Hoya. Like, it was a good marquee fight, but nobody points to those two fights. Like, those are, it was marquee fights. He earned money for it, but nobody you don't look at those fights and like, yo, those are, he knocked out Trinidad. He stopped Trinidad, whatever. But that's not what you point to when you talk about Bernard Hopkins. You understand? Because those guys were smaller guys, you know what I'm saying, coming up in weight. So, much rather see, these guys. Yeah, Tio is a good fighter. He's a marquee name. He's well accomplished. But again, I'd much rather see Geron Ennis fight Brian Norman, fight Mario Barrios. If he was to get those two fights and win those two fights, then I can see him fighting against Teofimo Lopez and then leaving the division. You know what I'm saying? Marquee fight, big name, then leave the division. Outside of that, I don't have no interest in seeing Teofimo Lopez versus Geron Ennis. I have no interest. It's a lose-lose situation for Geron Ennis, and it's a win-win for Teofimo Lopez. Period. It doesn't benefit Geron Ennis. Just doesn't, in my opinion. So I would much rather see, that fight. You know what I'm saying? Unify the belts. Let's see that. You know what I mean? I want to see that. I don't want to see him fight Teofimo Lopez. I ain't got no interest in that. I ain't got no interest in that. Jonathan Thompson, what's up, family? No disrespect to Teofimo. I just don't have no interest in that. Like, if you make it, yeah, because he's a marquee name. But at the end of the day, Sneaky Shooter, what's up? He said, what about Haney? Where should he campaign? 147. But again, I like to see Devin Haney get acclimated to 147. He's going to fight Jose Ramirez at 147. Then Ryan Garcia. He beats those two guys. Then we start talking about Jeff DePilot. What's up? Cardenas, what's up? Then we start talking about Haney and Ryan and those guys with, the other welterweights. But right now, as it stands, you know what I'm saying? Marquise, what's up? I don't have no injury. You know what I'm saying? Let them. They got unfinished business to handle in their own division. Again, Tio need to fight Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Before he gets to fighting Geron Ennis. Nico Royalty, what's up? You understand what I'm saying? Like, man, Shakur Stevenson is a fight we wanted to see before with Tio, not Geron Ennis. Let Geron Ennis go ahead and unify his belts and move on with his career, bro. Robert Chandler, my brother in the super chat, dropping that Cinco. On your boy Blue. Agree, Blue. All the Boots fights need to be unification and move up. I feel like he's going to miss a very competitive and legacy building 154-pound fight. Right. It's just no reason for him to fight Teofimo Lopez. It's just not. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessary in my opinion. But we'll be back on tomorrow, man. At 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Me and my brother Claymore Rain will be back on tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm about to get out of here. I appreciate y'all coming through, studying up, holding your boy Blue down, and showing me love. Tate Brown, peace and blessings, Queen. Salute to the 11520. What's up, Tate? Charlo Thurman at 154. My initial Quentin Utley is Jamel Charlo. Think he stopped Keith Thurman. But again, we don't even know. We don't know nothing about Jamel Charlo. I mean, what's going on with him, bro? Bro been out the ring going on 2 years. Yo, bro, it's just ugly, bro. It's about to be 2 years he been out the ring, bro. It's nasty work. I'm picking Jamel Charlo, though, but it's just nasty work. But I appreciate y'all coming through, studying up, holding your boy Blue down, and showing me love. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. I'm gone. Peace. Yeah, Tate, he fought Canelo in September 2023. It's over, man. It's just nasty work, bro. Remember, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence fought in July, and then he fought Canelo in September. Neither one of them fought. I got Chris Eubanks. And Big Charlo, he just dealing with health issues. It's clear as day. I don't even know what he doing. But I appreciate y'all coming through. I heard Jose Ramirez will be at 144 catchweight. Yeah, on their way to 147. Yeah, D-Boy Dev, man. It's just like Texas boys checked out. They checked out, D-Boy Dev. But I'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Peace.